I'll try to provide a kind of bird eye view or where we stand in our ministry. Okay, so it's a very general perspective, and it's about PNR, green transition, and growth. I suppose it's this. Okay. Whatever. Okay. So how do I get to my topic? No need to, to mention, the challenges that we face about green transition. Sorry, I went. Okay.
I think you can use this to go forward.
No, I can.
Yeah.
So we have to act at international level to mitigate greenhouse emissions. And European Union with the Green Deal set very ambitious goals, which actually were recently reinforced and made even more ambitious. Of course, there are other processes going on, like the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. But how do we get to the PNRR? It starts, as you know, from the COVID pandemic, from the recession. The EU decided to react and devised a temporary, let me stress this word, instrument, which is the Recovery and Resilience Facility, which is the centerpiece of the Next Generation EU. So it's the financing tool. There are 6 pillars. One of them is about green transition, but also you have digital transformation, social and territorial cohesion, and so forth. National plans were submitted to the Commission and that to comply with the requirements, such as assigning at least 37% of expenditure to reforms and investment that support green transition, other requirements, and a very relevant one was the do not significant harm principle to safeguard the environment. So here we have our plan. It's made by milestones and targets, which are qualitative and quantitative goals to be achieved through certain measures. But you can also argue that a measure is delivered only when all milestones and targets are achieved. Quantitative targets have to be measured, and you have, as I write in the slide, well-specified indicators. For instance, kilometers of railways built, and let's say in our area, square meters of surface area subject to or treated to energy efficiency measures. Our plan, of course, was compliant with these requirements. What was our role in the Ministry of Economy? We did not devise the specific measures, and we are not responsible for implementing them. We have kind of assembled the plan, we checked for consistency, and we made also an assessment, an overall assessment, so not just about green transition, but about main reforms, structural reforms. And here the impact on the economy is very highly uncertain. We quoted 10%, but it could go from 4.5 to 16%. And also we assessed the impact of investment. This is kind of short-term impact in the sense that it should, let's say, expire by the end of the plan, 2026. And at the ministry, we are accused of making too much optimistic forecasts of growth. But if you really had to build just this short-term impact, we will get even higher forecasts that we can't currently, predict growth. So eventually something has to give, and we don't know yet in which direction. Okay, I'll skip this slide. You can simply match the resources to other processes such as sustainable development goals. What about green transition? One mission, we call them missions, which are more or less the same as pillars, deals with green transition. If you were to drill into this mission, you will find a number of measures. I can read some: promotion of renewable gas, Greek solar park, and the famous, at least in Italy, eco bonus. Those measures are meant to have a direct impact, but there are also indirect impacts, which are kind of enhancing measures, like supporting startups and venture capital, active in the ecological transition. And a point that was made before, all these measures are mutually enforcing. So there are measures from other area which can help. For instance, the authorization process for railway project. This is about sustainable mobility, and itself, this area provides support to the green transition. What's the novelty? The novelty was the political context. So the conflict in Ukraine disrupted the EU energy system, and the EU decided to react through the Repower EU chapter, okay? Which has three main goals: to save energy, to diversify supply, and also to speed up the transition by going faster in substituting fossil and fuels. We submitted to the Commission our proposal. Is still being kind of discussed with the Commission, but the proposals rest, as far as investments, in investing more in energy grids, for instance, scaling up other measures, invest in energy transition through tax credits to aim at firms that want to invest in the green economy or anyway in self-production plants, for instance. But there are also, now I don't want to go through all the list, there are also reforms which are quite crucial. Allow for authorization procedure of energy plants to speed up this process. And also, it deals with key crucial raw materials, okay, which are relevant for the green transition. But one more point I would like to make is that the plan is really, as I said, a temporary tool. There is a long way to go, and other instruments are there, like the National Energy and Climate Plans, which should describe how a country should get to that target. Okay, there are many means, to achieve other different policy tools, but one crucial point will be, if the economic governance review is adopted, next year we'll have to devise a 4-year plan, which is a merge between the stability programs and the national reform programs, in which we also start, setting aside the resources after 2026 for the green transition. And there you find the first problems, where to find public resources. This has been mentioned. We need to involve also massively the industrial policies. Sorry, the private sector through industrial policies. And this is about, well, I would say the last slide, because the other one has been touched by by the other speakers. Here, so it's a EU area issue. The Commission came out with the Green Transition Industrial Act, if I'm not wrong, and that document, from that document spurred, let's say, other legislative acts like Net Zero Industry Act, European Critical Raw Material Act, and Strategic Technology for Europe platform. The overall intent of the EU industrial approach is to strengthen the green and strategic technologies, ensure a predictable regulatory environment, improve access to finance for innovative firms. And it's about competitiveness of the EU area. This kind of policy has been also quite a lot debated because it's also about not getting rid, but circumvent state aids. And here there were concerns by some EU countries that the level playing field was going to be kind of under threat, because if no EU funds were used, but national funds, countries with larger pockets could afford, more effective policies. The other slide was about, growth and transition and impact on GDP, but I think those issues were touched by previous speakers, so I stop here.
Perfect, thank you.